Hello everyone, and welcome back to the NFL Kid. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the NFL Kid. I'm your host, Richie Martinani, and today I'm going to be giving you my Week 1 NFL breakdown, as well as my Week 2 NFL predictions. This week I'm going to be doing my top 4 NFL predictions, and next week it could be top 5, top 3, who knows. It just depends on the number of games that I believe will be really exciting. But first, let's take a look at what happened in Week 1. However, before we get to all that, I just want to say how great it is to be back in football season. It was so nice to be able to relax on a Sunday afternoon and watch some football, and I can't wait to watch many more exciting games the rest of the season. Now, let's take a look at what happened in Week 1 of the NFL. And what a week this was. Where do I even begin? From the Bills destroying the Los Angeles Rams on Thursday Night Football to the incredible Bengals-Steelers overtime finish, this week was packed with excitement. So, let's go through my top 5 highlights or most important things that happened in Week 1 of the NFL. Starting off at number 5, both the Browns and the Saints come back to win on last-second field goals. Number 4, the Giants come back to beat the Tennessee Titans on a last-second touchdown, which, if they had kicked the extra point, would have tied the game. However, they made the risky move to go for 2, and that paid off as they converted the 2-point conversion and won the game 21-20. Number 3, the Buccaneers, Vikings, Chiefs, and Bills all destroy really good teams. And man, you have to respect Tom Brady, coming back at age 45 to play his 23rd NFL season. Number 2, the Colts, Texans, and the Bengals-Steelers games both went into overtime. The Colts and the Texans ended up tying, which was surprising, but the Bengals and Steelers game had an even more surprising finish. The Bengals' long snapper got injured, meaning that their field goal snaps were going to be a little bit off. This caused them to have an extra point that would have won them the game blocked at the end of regulation. Then the game went into overtime, and the Bengals missed a game-winning field goal. Then the Steelers missed a game-winning field goal in overtime as well. And then finally, with a minute left, Mitch Trubisky drove the Steelers down into field goal range, and Chris Boswell kicked the winning field goal to have the Steelers win in overtime 23-20. It was crazy. And number 1, Dak Prescott gets injured and the Cowboys lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He is now out for about 6 to 8 weeks, and this will greatly hurt the Cowboys' chances of doing well, as they already didn't have a great offense, and now they might not make the playoffs. So now, let's move on to Richie's top 4 NFL predictions for Week 2. But before we get to that, let's take a look at how I did with my predictions last week. Last week I predicted 6 games and went 4-2, which is pretty good. I was correct about the Bills winning, although I thought the game would be a little bit closer. I was also correct about the Browns, Buccaneers, and Chargers winning. The Browns won in a very exciting game that went down to the wire, and the Chargers and Buccaneers games went about as I expected, although I thought that the Buccaneers would score more. However, I had the Packers winning close, but they got blown out by the Minnesota Vikings. Their offense wasn't that good without Davante Adams, although I think it should improve over the course of the season. And finally, I had the Broncos winning on Monday Night Football. However, they lost in a close game to the Seattle Seahawks, and Russell Wilson lost to his old team, along with Baker Mayfield and Joe Flacco, who both lost to their old teams as well. So now, let's move on to my top 4 Week 2 NFL predictions. My first prediction of the week is the Thursday night game, which once again will be really good. The Kansas City Chiefs versus the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chiefs are coming off a dominating victory over the Arizona Cardinals, in which they won 44-21, so it looks like no Tyreek Hill is no problem for the Kansas City Chiefs, as they managed just fine without him. And even though the Chargers look pretty good in their win over the Raiders, and they have a much improved defense, I think since some of their wide receivers are injured and might not be 100% for this game, the Kansas City Chiefs will win in another high-scoring game. The second game I'll be predicting is the Buccaneers-Saints. The Saints usually have Tom Brady's number during the regular season, as they have beaten him the last 4 times they played in the regular season. However, the Saints no longer have Sean Payton, and I think the Buccaneers will win this time, as the Buccaneers defense looked really good in their first game against the Cowboys. They held the Cowboys to only 3 points. Their offense was good, but they need to get into the end zone more. And even though the Saints are coming off a big win over the Falcons, in which they came back to win at the last second, the Falcons, they aren't as good as the Buccaneers, and so for that reason, I think the Buccaneers will win, simply because the Saints will just be overwhelmed by their high-flying offense, even though Chris Godwin might not play. And the third game I'll be predicting is the Buffalo Bills versus the Tennessee Titans. Now you might think the Bills will destroy the Titans, as they just destroyed the defending Super Bowl champions, and the Titans lost to the Giants. But this game has a very interesting storyline behind it, as the Titans have beaten the Bills the last 2 times they faced in the regular season. So even though the Bills should win, and I think they will win, this game has a very interesting storyline to follow. And the final game I'll be predicting is the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Minnesota Vikings. This should be a very interesting Monday night game, as the Eagles are coming off a very close win over the Detroit Lions, and the Vikings are coming off a blowout win over the Green Bay Packers. Both of these teams have good offenses, but I think the Vikings will win because they have the slightly better offense. And even though their defenses are about the same, I think that the Vikings defense will be able to step up, as they just held Aaron Rodgers to 7 points. And so for that reason, the combination of the Vikings offense and defense, I think the Vikings will win here, but it'll be a close game. But make sure to leave your predictions down in the comments below. Also, make sure to tell me in the comments where you agree with me and where you think I was wrong. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any more great content by the NFL Kid. Until next time, my fellow football fans, see you at game time. Don't forget to like and subscribe.